All right, all right, all right. Happy New Year. Welcome back for the first broadcast of 2024. I'm your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my co host, the Big Bad Wolf, Herb Lewis. If you are willing to jump on the panel, let us know. We welcome you with open arms. Last time we met, we discussed what's going on in your mind ending 2023, headed into 2024. Go back and check out the broadcast on the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor, and also check out the reels on Facebook, IG, YouTube, and TikTok. It's basically summarizations or some, talking points during the broadcast. Okay, good people. Remember, we said in 2024 we ain't taking no shorts. So we start off tonight's topic, Monday, January 1st, discussing the importance of non disclosure agreements in personal relationships. We will also talk about the layaway plan, the fallout of the info surrounding TD Jakes, P. Diddy, and some of the other people that could have been saved by having a NDA. You may you may ask, what's a non-disclosure agreement? It's basically an agreement that helps establish domestic partnership without any discrepancies, duties, and rights of both parties. We will go deeper with benefits of this agreement, such as honesty, communication, clarity of intentions, um, things to consider before signing an agreement, the choice to choose, addressing certain problems, some concerns you should address, property details, expenses, and inherited or acquired property. We have, hold on, I usually have my regular sheet, but now got my notebook. We have a lot to cover and we'll be diving in early and often. Please like and share our video. Keep letting others know to subscribe. We are sitting on 804 subs, so we're pushing toward the next goal of 825. So let's go. 2024, the Kobe year, and the year of alignment. And basically, the reason why they say the year of alignment because of yesterday's date, 12/31/23. So it's basically 123, 123. So get your shit in order this year, everyone. So that's pretty much it. So we're here again. Happy New Year. Glad to be back. Took I don't know, maybe a week off or so, but every now and then you need that break to refresh and recharge yourself. Boy, I'm gonna need it because I got to go back to work tomorrow, and this was the quickest damn break I've ever seen in history. And I don't know if I'm going back mad, angry, or whatever the case is. I just think it's too quick, too damn quick for me. But all right, that's that. What's going on with you, Herb?
Man, just I'm laying out my list of things that I want to do for this upcoming year in terms of investments, debt reduction, things that I should have really at least completed last year, especially with the book and a couple games that I'm working on. So all that's on the burner this year. And of course the thing that was discussed a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now, it'll be 3 weeks with the gentleman's program. So working on all of that. So yeah, it's a lot going on in the wolf's lair. But we gonna get to it. We gonna get it done this year. No excuses. No excuses. But I do have a public service announcement. As all of you or most of you probably know, I work in hospitality. If you're going to go out of town and you plan on drinking, there's a few things that I hope you understand. One, if you're staying in a hotel, know where that hotel is. Know the phone number, know the location. And when I say the location, I mean the street and the city that it's located in. I know some people are saying, well, who wouldn't know that? Stick with me. Number two, know where you're staying at in that hotel. And number three, make sure that you have a way to get back there in case you go to another location. Had a gentleman that came in last night, asked me for his room number. I asked him his name. And find it in the registry. So I said, sir, are you sure you're staying here? And yes, I have this right here. Gentleman pulls out his phone. Sure enough, it says the hotel name, but I read further. It does not say Niagara Falls. It says Amherst, New York. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the area, Amherst is about 45 minutes from where we are. Needless to say, and I don't think the gentleman was drunk. I just think he was just disoriented. I don't know why, but like I said, those are the things that, pay attention to. I know New Year's Eve is amateur night. That's probably why I haven't been out in over 15 damn or 20 years, with the one exception. I went down to see my brother. It was a family affair, but I don't go out on New Year's Eve. I work.
So were you able to switch his room to your
No. He was already checked in at that particular location. There's nothing I could do for him. That's why I give the public service announcement. You don't want to be ass out, especially when you're drinking. You don't know who the hell you are.
Idiot.
Man, I'm telling you, man. Like you could write, like you wrote the book Middle School Madness. Man, oh man, the things that I could, and and I probably will one day, because I keep a list of stupid stuff, just because, and sometimes the scenarios just write themselves, especially with the stuff that we see and we come across, man. Yeah, so. I don't know what he left.
Willie A. Price. Happy New Year.
He wasn't staying at our hotel, so I don't, I couldn't do much for him. I offered, to get him some transportation. So
should have got that man a shuttle. Should have shuttled him there.
There's no we don't offer shuttle service, so he was really out of
I know.
I felt bad for him, but I was what much I could do for him.
Oh, you want the link? Herb, send them the link.
Yeah.
All right, but while we doing that, so, and I'm just guess Gavin wants the link too.
Mm-hmm.
This non-disclosure agreement. Is this more for? Because I know you speak on this a lot, Herb. Is this more for people with money, quote unquote, or just regular everyday people should get in the business of coming up with these agreements and getting it, I don't know, I guess notarized or whatever the case is?
I'm glad you asked that question, man, because I have that right here in my notes. Let me start at the top. But first, let me ask this question for everybody that is listening. We're talking about a non-disclosure agreement, as David read at the top of the show, that encompasses a lot of things. But there's one thing that this country universally has that is a non-disclosure agreement in another form. I am not going to give the answer, but I will give it later in the show. I just want to see if people know what's going on. Okay. Once again, there is a medical agreement that is very close to an NDA. And I want to see if people know what it is. I'll give the answer before the show's over. Now, NDAs, who are they valuable to? See, we hear NDA, I keep saying NDA. We hear NDA and we think they're only valuable to the well-to-do, the uber rich, the famous. And no, anybody should have one. Why? because it protects you from the BS that you might have to deal with. Now, you don't necessarily have to go the legal route to have one. But what you do need to do is to be disciplined enough to cut people off. When I used to talk about I have a non-disclosure agreement with the women that I deal with, people thought I was crazy. They laughed.
So hold on. Before you get into it, so was yours just a verbal, like a verbal agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
But what people need to understand is this. When I deal with a female, I know she wants to be with me. I'm not blowing my own horn. I'm not tooting my own. I'm not saying I'm the shiznit. I know she values being with me. So if you want to be with me, you want to partake in the things that I do, you want to share my company, these are the rules that we're going to abide by. It's nothing strenuous. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that's going to make you feel bad, morally compromise you. I'm just asking that we protect what it is that we do, because what we do doesn't need to be anyone else's business.
So basically, don't put you on Facebook. Don't make posts about what's going on or any of that stuff. You don't want them to put that out there. That's just non-negotiable.
Correct.
But how do you do a verbal NDA? I'm curious.
You let it be known up front. Hey, look, I don't want to hear tell. I said to the league, Gavin. Oh, give me a second, Gavin. You let it be known. Hey, look, what you and I do is strictly between us. I don't want to hear about it on Facebook. I don't want to hear about it from your friends. I don't want to hear about it from anybody. I don't want to see it on Snapchat or whatever the case is, any of the social media sites.
So if they say yes, then that's just a agreement between y'all. But if they break it, there's no repercussions for it.
Sure.
Other than you breaking up with them.
But see, this is the thing. We don't necessarily have to be in a relationship like that.
Well, I mean, if you have an NDA, you would be in a relationship with that person normally, right?
No. See, that's the beauty of it. See, what fellas need to understand, and I've been saying this for years. If you get down with a female, learn to keep your mouth closed. Because there have been women that I've had sex with that I haven't been in a full-fledged relationship with. There have been women that I've gone places with out of town that I haven't been in a full-fledged relationship with.
Me too.
But I've also learned to keep my mouth closed. And this is where the other part of the NDA comes in. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, they're gonna say, we always know they're gonna say, "Oh, you just trying to be secretive." That's what that's about. You're just trying to be secretive.
You know what? And they are free to believe as they choose. I'm not here to change anyone's mind. If
you are out with somebody and you go out of town with them or whatever, it should be kept between you and that person anyways.
But what happens? And why?
I have no idea, because I ain't trying to tell it, especially.
So what happens when they decide, okay, after the fact, then they start posting pictures, whatever,
cut them off
of you two. And
well, you have to agree that you don't post pictures too, because that just happened with me just this month. So, and that was our agreement. We wasn't posting no pictures. We wasn't. But
and also I'm sorry.
Then when we came back. She flipped the script on me, started talking about getting married and all kind of shit. So had to cut that shit off real quick.
See, also, the other thing is you don't take any pictures. And see, this is what fellas don't understand. They say, "Well,
I like taking pictures,
huh?
I like taking pictures. Nice keepsakes."
No. Take the picture by yourself.
No, it ain't no fun.
Right,
well, we took a lot of pictures.
You set yourself up there.
No, we took individuals and we took a lot, and I sent the ones that I took of me and her together. I sent them to her, but we agreed that we weren't going to post them, and I know she ain't gonna post them because we're not speaking anymore now. But it was quite interesting that you said that when because that just happened with me just less than 30 days ago.
I'm
And,
telling because I know how the
but
game
I know
goes.
she's not gonna post it because, like I said, she's upset with me because she came back talking about getting married and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Shit, damn.
Exactly.
But
That's what
that's
happens when that aphrodisiac get laid on them like that. You know what I'm saying?
but that's exactly what I mean. See, a lot of fellas don't understand, and I've always said this: what do you have in your utility belt? Are you the Dos Equis guy? Are you somebody that a woman wants to be with? Is she willing to do what you want done to be with you? And if
Most
the
of them
answer and if the answer is I don't know or no, then you need to step up your development as a man. You need to be somebody that somebody wants to be around. It's period. There's no end up, no discussion, no rhyme or reason. This is not Herbert Lewis saying this. This is what men who are sought after do. Think about it.
But most people don't, and that's something I think we talked about that on this show before.
Mhm.
That's something that people don't do is have a conversation with their partner, with that person that they're involved with. And then when stuff pop up or stuff go south, then they question, well, I didn't know you felt like that. Or I didn't think we was going there, or whatever the case may be. What do you think gonna happen if you get a person's emotions involved in a situation y'all don't discuss? Hey, this is just what we hanging out. This is just for the weekend. Don't take it back when we go home. That kind of thing.
Right.
So if you don't have that discussion, which I didn't, which that's why I'm in. That's how I end up in the situation I was in. But I did clear it up. I did tell them.
Well, a lot of it is show and tell. Like they're in competition, which they say they don't compete with other females, but they're in competition because they're posting their man or whatever the case is. So they want that too. They want those likes. They want to be validated. They want to show the world, yeah, me and Willie just went to here. We just went here. And
but you know what? I find that you'll find out a lot about some people because they won't post. And the reason why they don't post is because they got other people they fooling around with back home. You know what I'm saying? So they're in agreement that they don't want to post and they don't want to, don't put no pictures up. But then, like I said, by the end of the trip, the script flipped, and it was let's post some pictures and let's get married, and I want to get married. And I'm like, what the hell? Where the hell that come from? Where the hell that come from? We was good. Now we're not good no more. I'm like Herb now. Why are we not good no more?
See, and my whole thing is this: I'm not saying anything. I'm just going poof, like a.
Well, I said, we
gas in the
you've
wind.
been friends.
I'm out.
Like I said, we were friends. Well, we hung out a lot before that happened. Before that whole weekend happened, for like a year, just hanging out, doing stuff. It was cool. That's why I was so surprised that all that came about. And then to come back and it be this whole, want to take it to the next level, just kind of flipped me out. But
didn't have that discussion, did you?
No, well, I wasn't expecting that discussion.
but that's precisely the point. You got.
I say, well, if we do this and I do it the way I want to do it, you ain't gonna want to get married, are you?
Hey, I'll put it to you like this:
you ain't gonna want to get married if I knock this box out, are you?
With women, leave no stone unturned. I asked this question at work, and I'll ask it on the platform.
And it was so funny because I was leaving, she was leaving the day before me, and she ended up calling herself missing her flight just so she wouldn't have to leave and go home so she could stay another day.
And see, this is why I recommend.
That's when I should have knew something was wrong. Well, something was right, rather, whatever. Because she didn't even want to go home. I was like, dang.
This is why I recommend movies. I keep mentioning the movie Up in the Air. Why? Because it Up in the Air has that exact same thing, except it was the guy who was caught out there.
Oh,
Watch the movie, people. Watch the
Up in
movie.
the Air.
That's all I'm gonna say. Up in the
What's
Air.
the name of Up in the Air? Okay.
George Clooney is a fantastic movie. It covers a lot of stuff, gives you a lot of life
Better
stories.
not be no damn black and white movie, Herb.
Nah, this one is
Them
kinda-
subtitles and shit.
You know, and coming down the pipe when we get into some, the reason why I bring up these movies is because they're devoid of a lot of BS. Usually, what I find in most black and white movies, at least the ones that I've seen, because I watch the Turner Classic Movie Network. I'm at work and something cops. Well, let me check this out. It's a good movie. But the reason why I bring these movies up is because they deal with real life situations. They have moments in there where somebody can identify with what that character is going through, and they say, you know what? They don't make movies like this anymore. Most movies now they always have some love angle.
They make them.
Rom-com.
You got to watch them on Tubi.
There you go. There you go.
Can't make that shit up.
That's one of my favorite apps now.
Yeah.
No, I maybe I have to check it out. But yeah, man, these it just saves you a lot of heartache. And I always and I try and get women to understand this. When you do this, it gives you freedom. If you want to sleep around and you know the guys, they talk. Say, hey, look, I'm not that type of female. Not that I don't like to get down, because I like to get down, but you know what? Let's keep this between me and you. Period.
But some guys will say, all right, and then as soon as they done, they run off somewhere. But see, that's what I'm saying. When you said a verbal NDA, I'm like, people will say anything to get what they want.
Yes, just they will.
Putting something in writing is a totally different thing. And what I also find is that, and I'm going to say black people because that's who I deal with. Black people have a real issue with contracts. They will sign a contract, they'll sign a lease, and then turn right around and do everything against what they agreed to do in that contract and lease and think nothing of it.
Because they don't read it. A lot of just skim
some
through
of
it.
them even read it. Because
they don't understand it.
When you sign a lease, you agree to, you're going to give 30 days notice, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And what they do when they get mad, they're going to jump up now. Well, I'm moving. Well, you got to give 30-day notice. Well, I ain't giving no 30. They do whatever that lease, and then mad when they don't get their security deposit back.
Yeah.
I mean, it just amazes me. I've seen people sign rental agreements. I've seen people sign contracts for cars, for leases for cars, and think they can just turn around. Well, I don't want the car no more, and take it back and just leave it. I know somebody got one of those, was it buy here, pay here cars?
Yeah.
Decided they didn't want the car no more. Just took the car, drove it back to the place, and put the keys in the mailbox of the place, and then got surprised when the people started garnishing their wage for the payments that they owed, and couldn't understand why I took the car back. Wasn't nothing wrong with it, but you signed an agreement.
Yeah,
I couldn't understand that. I said, how? But I see people do things like that all the time. So people will agree, okay, all right, I ain't gonna say nothing. All right, yeah, we can do this. I ain't gonna say nothing to get what they want. And then once they get it or they get tired of it, then they tell it.
Now, this is how you get by that. And I'm going to channel a former panel member and what she said.
Uh-oh.
Acknowledgement to Saria. What does she always talk about? Saria.
Oh, Sarita. Okay.
Do your
Mofo.
due diligence. Yes. Background checks. Ask about this guy.
Well, Annetta always talked about the background checks.
Okay,
paying
I'm sorry.
$89.99 or whatever for the background checks.
No, I don't mean that background check. I'm talking about in terms of asking about the guy himself.
Oh, about
Not necessarily to the extent,
their
to
character.
The extent that, because it's just like Willie said, a guy will tell you anything just to get what he wants, and absolutely. But if you start asking around, and this guy is a known philanderer, people will tell you, don't mess with him. He ain't no good. All you need is one bad reference. You say, oh no.
How many people do that though?
Huh?
Not many.
But that's
Not
my
many.
point.
Because they don't ask because they really don't want to know. Because they're intrigued with that person or they like that person for whatever reason. So they really don't want to know anything bad about them that's going to deter them from not being involved with that person. Even if they may even hear on the side that, oh, he a dog, or she's been sleeping around, because they have an interest, they'll block all that out because they think, well, even if they are like that, maybe they might be different with me.
Well, that's the hope springs eternal nonsense. I mean,
Of course,
and
but that's how people are. People are living dreams. People live in these dream worlds where they think that person, the known cheater, known liar, known baddie making babies all over the place, he'll be different with me. Because he'll see that I'm a good woman, or she'll see that I'm a good man, and then they get in, and the person might be good with them for about a month or two or whatever, even 6 months. But then eventually their true self is going to come out, and they're just going to be another casualty in the relationship.
Well, but and I call it chasing that silver bullet, because a lot of times it's someone that they like when they were younger, and they're like, oh, I always wanted him. I always wanted him. And then finally, damn, he paid me some attention, so I don't give a damn what his record is or whatever the case is. I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get involved with him.
True.
Yeah. That's what happened. It happened with guys too, with girls. You see a girl that was fine as hell back in the day. It's like, damn, I always wanted her. Then you get with her, you're like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
It wasn't what I thought it was.
That was the situation I had with the baby mama last year.
That was my situation 30 days ago.
So I mean, like I said, I can only provide you with the information. It's up to you, to do the footwork and follow through. I mean, if you want to ignore the torpedoes and sail on
a whole year, you've been wanting it, then you finally out of nowhere get it and be like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
It happens. I mean, but
it does. It does. But like Dave said though, because you've had these ideas of what it would be, how you thought it was going to be this great opportunity, or this great connection, and then when it happens, it doesn't materialize the way you pictured it or even imagined that it would be. And so it becomes like, you basically just trying to get away as fast as possible.
Well, that's the other thing too. I would always tell people, go into any endeavor with your eyes wide open. Don't have any expectations of a situation and how it's going to work out unless you've planned. And when I say planned, I'm talking about you dotted every T and crossed every I. I know what I said. I dotted every T and crossed every I. That way, something is going to go a certain way. Other than that, I don't have any expectations. It's the easiest way to foolproof being heard or caught out there. No. Because if something goes awry, you got to be. It's like De Niro's character said in Heat. You can't have anything in your life that you're not afraid to walk out on in 30 seconds. And that's how I treat it.
That's true.
That's how I treat it. If somebody wants to violate the terms of agreement, I'm gone. You gotta
don't get involved with anybody that you think you may have regrets with later.
Yeah, right.
If you think you're gonna have regrets, you might as well leave it alone, because if you're already thinking regrets are eventually gonna happen.
And one of the things is also, we have to understand, if it's somebody you liked in high school or whatever, they had whole different experiences that shaped and molded them. I remember this young lady I was cool with. She got with this guy years after. She knew I was cool with him, like growing up, and she was like, "Oh, D, why didn't you tell me about him?" Like, I don't know what the fuck he was like as an adult. As an adult, I don't know what he was like. I know him as a kid. Going to church, going a good stand-up guy. But if he's 30-some years old and been through life experiences, I don't have nothing to do with it. He been through stuff, so I couldn't tell you that. Don't blame me for that. You should have been on them damn apps.
And that's
Yeah.
true too. You think about it. You said 30, 20, 30 years, but think about us. We're in our 40s, 50s, and I'm 60.
Mhm.
And you meet people who have in your or close to your age, 30, 40, 50 years old. They've been through a lot of stuff.
Yes, indeed.
They've been through a lot of stuff. And you're going into that situation, you don't know what kind of baggage 20, 30 years of baggage, 20, 30
Mhm.
years of abuse. I just posted about this actually the other day. 20, 30 years of abuse. A person I was talking to, a friend of mine I met, and the more I got to know them, the more they felt comfortable and sharing from the age of 16. This person is almost 60 now. Age
Oh.
of 16 being abused by every guy they ever dated. Abused, physically abused, mentally abused. And you get to a point where you're 50, 60 years old and wonder why you can't find a stable relationship. Because
that,
you've been
that shit gonna come out no matter what. How you try to
no
sweep it,
matter
like
what
I said,
happens,
sweep it
you're
under
gonna
the rug.
constantly-
Dust
yeah.
always gonna come up. It's gonna
Yeah.
come
no
up
matter
somewhere
how
form.
good that person is to you, no matter how good you see that person is to you, he's always going to do something that's going to remind you of somebody within those past 40 years
Yeah.
that abused you
It's
in
inevitable.
some kind of way. And that person may have all kind of good intentions, but because you've been through so much in the past 40 years, the littlest thing, they might smile or laugh a certain way. Oh, you remind me of my ex that used to laugh like that. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Now all of a sudden they not only thinking to laugh, now they think about the things that person that used to laugh like that did to them. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden the mood swings come. You know, as we get older, man, it is so difficult to get into a relationship with a person, to build a relationship with a person, because you don't know what they've been through. And it's hard because, of course, even though they may tell you some of the things they've been through, or they've been through some things, they're never going to tell you everything they've been through.
Well, this is when it
And
pays.
you really don't want to know everything they've been through either.
No, I do.
Oh, Jesus. How
I
she get
do.
on here?
I heard all
I
your
do
BS. Don't worry.
I do, because I'm not the. See, what a lot of people do is they take information and they're looking to use it to try and wound somebody. I'm not that type of
Use it
individual.
against you, yeah.
Yes, I'm not the type of individual. I want to know so I know how to handle you when a certain situation comes to pass. So, if I'm dealing with a female who dated a guy who had male friends or whatever the case was, and they would say certain things and it made her feel uncomfortable, I would just refrain from saying anything remotely close to that. Not because I don't want to be insensitive, but it's a trigger for her. So why would I want to trigger somebody unless I'm just trying to be an asshole?
But a lot of times you don't know what triggers them until you've done it. You know what I mean?
But that's my point. That's why you have to. This gets into, the esoteric nature of men getting to know their other half, the feminine side of themselves, if you will, the yin and yang. And a lot of guys, they haven't done that work. They call it shadow work. And simply put, a lot of guys haven't done it. And a lot of guys don't know how to do it. BGS used to talk about it, and I've been listening to his shows when he talks about that stuff. And I would post it in the group if I thought a lot of guys were actually into it, but they're not. They say, "Oh no, that's bitch shit, man. I ain't doing that." Okay, so when you encounter a female that you like, but you can't figure her out because you're not willing to sit down and understand things from her perspective, then don't complain about she's overly emotional. No, she's where she's supposed to be. But because you don't understand female nature and how she is, you think she's overreacting.
If you don't understand irrationality,
No,
which
but
most men
irrational.
don't,
but it's not irrational. It's the wrong
It is
word.
irrational. Most women
It's not
respond with emotion.
irrational.
Women respond
Willie,
with
you're not
emotion.
listening.
Men respond with logic.
But
That's
Willie,
why. That's
Willie.
why a lot of times you'll hear a woman say to a man, "Oh, well, you don't respect my feelings," because men don't respond with feelings. So it's hard for us to respect a feeling or respond with a feeling when we don't understand feelings because we don't really react that way.
and that's precisely what I'm telling you. That's the statement you made.
But there's nothing you can do about that. No matter how
But
hard
I'm
you
telling
try,
you that
you can't
is.
take on emotions when you're not an emotional being. Men are
You
not
don't have. You
emotional
don't
beings.
have to.
No,
Understanding does not mean you have to take on a certain thing.
but you have to be able to respond. And I didn't say you have to take it
No,
on,
not at
but
all.
you need to know how to respond. If a woman is emotional, you
Mhm.
need to know how to respond and react to those emotions and make her
No,
feel at ease and comfortable.
no.
And yes, to make her
Let
feel
me-
at
let me put
ease
it- let me-
because a
let me put
woman
it to you
wants
like
to
this.
feel
Hold on,
safe.
let me just say this. Let me just say this. Well, one of the things you have to validate those feelings. Whatever. If they throw
Yeah,
out
bingo.
emotions, if they throw out
Right.
emotions that require you to validate, you have to validate those feelings.
That's right.
They have to be heard. If
That's
you
right.
kind of dismiss it, then that's just a whole
There you go.
whole nother
Can of
issue,
worms.
and you just made it worse. So you
Yeah.
have to be able to validate it. But at times, they have to be concrete and be direct, because guys are direct. Like, yo, you need
Right.
to tell me the direct
How do
thing.
I do
It's-
this?
Yeah, I'm not about to go around the mulberry bush trying to figure out things. And a lot of times that's the issue, where you should have known, where you
Yeah,
know
and
how
there you
I
go.
am, or
And,
whatever
and,
the case
and
is,
it's normally
instead
an
of saying
emotion
direct.
when they say that. You should have known. You should have knew how I felt. You should have known how I was thinking or how I was thinking about how I felt. Everything is based on an emotion. And so you have to be receptive to that. We can never, as men, understand and be emotional with women because we're not emotional beings. We can
And this is-
understand and be receptive to them and try to make them feel comfortable in their emotions.
But this
And
is what
that's what our role is. What most men don't understand to
Where
try
did
to
you
do.
read this? Did you
Huh?
read this, or you just came up with this in your head?
I've
It has emotion.
read it. I've been in
But
situations. I've seen.
Some people are left brain dominant. Some people are right brain dominant. Just because you may be left brain dominant doesn't mean all males are.
But we're talking about emotions. We're not talking about left and right brain.
Oh, yeah, that has to do with what part of your brain you use.
Not emotions.
Yeah, it does.
Not emotions.
hold on, Anita.
Look it
But
up.
Willie, this is precisely what I was talking about when I said men need to be able to get in touch with their emotional side. Laugh if you want to.
I hear you, but it's rarely going to happen. And I understand what you're saying, but it's very
Why is it rarely going to happen if you want a successful relationship with somebody?
That doesn't mean a man is going to express or display his emotional side to a woman.
But
or to his male friend.
Well, then you haven't learned.
Willie, hold on, Willie. Hold on, Anita. But Willie,
I said it's very rare. I didn't say they don't. I said it's very rare because
if
men
you
are
think that, then you haven't learned at your age. You have not gone through the process
to show emotion or emotional reactions to things for the fear of looking like they're punks or gay or sissy or however they want to be referred or don't want to be referred to. So that's why you have young boys, and I deal with it all the time in my programs, young boys who refuse to show any emotion, or when they do act out, they become so emotional. A lot of them have been raised in a single family household with mothers. So when they do get upset or they do get hurt or somebody does something, they respond emotionally, crying and hitting. And that's an emotional reaction. That's not a rational reaction.
But hitting is a masculine trait.
It's an emotional reaction.
No, women don't generally hit, especially when it comes to male and female, because they're the weak of the two genders.
The emotion is their feelings are hurt and then they hit. They're hitting as a boy. They're hitting.
I'll put it to you like this:
the reaction of what they're hitting about is brought on by an emotion.
Dr. Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist, has documented this. I'm not telling you what I say. I'm telling you what a doctor who studies this says. Women do not strike first.
I didn't say women strike first.
But this is what I'm telling you. You said the boys, they cry.
They become emotional, and then they lash out and they hit, which is a response to an emotional reaction.
Well, it's like four things. It's thoughts. It's thoughts, then feelings, and then actions, then behaviors, whatever.
Right.
Usually you thinking something, then you start feeling a certain way. Then your actions lead to those feelings, and then your behaviors. So it starts feeling, actions, and behaviors. That's like a sequence that typically happens.
And with male situations, normally a male will say, what would happen if I hit this person? What's going to happen if I hit this person? Well, I better not hit him. They're normally going to think out. They're going to rationally think out the situation instead of emotionally acting out and hitting the person because their feelings were hurt, or because the person made them angry, or person made them sad, or the person made them cry, or stepped on their shoe, or whatever brought the emotion about. That's what a male response is normally, to think about what your actions are. That's one of the things I do in my program. Like I said, I work with young men, and that's what we work on, is showing them how to not respond emotionally in situations when they're upset.
Yes, but you're always going to have a certain segment of the male population that's impulsive.
Well, that's true, because they're not going to not be raised in emotional living situations.
It's the male nature. Male nature is to be impulsive.
No, it's not. Impulsive?
Yes.
A male's behavior is to be impulsive.
Male nature is to be impulsive. This is why younger men are classified as reckless, because they do things impulsively. And understand what I'm saying.
Where they learn that from?
Say it again.
Where they learn that from?
You don't.
Every behavior is learned. Where they learn it from?
No, that's not necessarily true.
Behavior isn't learned.
All behaviors aren't learned. Okay. You don't learn.
Well, where do you suppose they learn that behavior that you're mentioning?
You don't. This is something you do. That's why it's called impulsive.
Okay.
I think some of it is learned, but some of it can be impulsive, that they just do it right there. But some of it is stuff that they seen, so they know how that they just respond a certain way because that's what they seen. Oh, shit! I see my daddy hit my mother, or whatever the case is. Or some things, it's a message that's being told. Again, we have a lot of mothers that tell boys, she put her hands on you, knock their ass out, or whatever the case is. So those are the messages that you get. And they say this stuff in the school in front of, I don't give a damn who, the principal or whatever. She put her hands on him. I told him to defend himself. What can you really, what can you really do? So,
they see it in songs. They hear it on. They see it on television. They hear it in music.
Catch-22. This shit.
Everything is on display to them. They hear it. They hear it everywhere they go. They watch it. They play it in video games. Everywhere that they're involved, there's something that's showing them a reaction. That's teaching them how to react in situations instead of thinking. There's no thinking in a video game. It's how fast you react in a video game. There's no thinking when you're watching these reality shows. It's watching how people react when somebody say something to one of the other co-stars on the show, and then what's the reaction? They all jump up and they start fighting and throwing shit. That's the reaction.
Like what reality show?
The ones that these kids are seeing.
Like what? Which one?
I don't watch them, so I couldn't tell you. I can say Atlanta Housewives. I'll just give one off the top of my head, but those are the kind of shows that these kids watch and their parents watch. And what do they see? Everything is a reaction. Everybody's reacting to what somebody said or what somebody did or what somebody called somebody or some whatever. It's always a reaction. Those shows are based on reactions.
Yes, they are. But let me put it to you like this: if a mosquito lands on somebody's arm, what do?
Slap it.
Is that learned or is that impulsive?
You normally don't slap it until you feel it. So you're reacting to the sting. You're not just slapping it because you felt the mosquito land on your arm.
The reason why I use that is because it's nonviolent. See, it's nonviolent. In other words, nobody's being struck.
What's nonviolent?
The killing of the mosquito. See,
the mosquito stung you. That's how you knew it was there.
But that's my point.
So there was an action that caused a reaction.
But it's still an impulsive. You could just shoo it away. Why don't people shoo it away?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't people shoo it away? You shoo flies away.
Because the needle is in their arm, and that's how they felt it. So there's no shooing it away because the needle is already in their arm.
Some people get punched and they don't punch back. Why not?
Well, I want to. I want to add to that, but I do want Anita and I want Gavin to say something because, like with the mosquito thing, you can kind of know it's coming or you kind of predict it, but you irritate it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes people reactions is based off of irritation that they irritated, and because I could tell you at school many times, and I can say this: these girls are aggressive. So if they're irritated by a boy or irritated by something that happened, they go for kill. And I'm like, stop playing. Like, you play too much. You didn't have to do that to this boy. He simply did this, and you hit him with your whole book bag and a computer or something like that. Like, why you do all that? Because he annoyed me. I'm irritated. And then when he does this, then what's gonna happen?
Right.
So it's a lot of stuff that goes on that you constantly trying to teach and program, but you can't because it's so many different things. There's so many different messages that they're receiving. But we're kind of, again, how we doing here off the subject. I don't know how we even got on this, but
no, because the comment was about women being able to vet a guy that lies, and it just veered off from there.
So, Anita, I know you heard a lot. You heard a lot Willie was saying, and you as a female, what's your take?
I think he got some learning to do.
Whatever.
Willie ain't even on here I don't know what Willie's doing, but he got some learning to do because emotion does happen in the right part of the brain. He needs to read up on it.
I'm not taking
any
advice from any woman that puts sugar in her grits.
Hold on, it's my turn to talk. Zip it. Okay. Uh-huh.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. And it don't matter how fly or how much you put it on a female, that don't make it or break it, honey. Okay? That ain't shit but some DICK germs. Okay? Just let you know. that ain't making the whole relationship right there. That is not going to be wrapped around her finger. So
ain't nobody say that.
Come on now. Okay.
Ain't nobody say that. And plus, like I said, I ain't taking no advice from no woman that put sugar in her grits. So I don't even care what you say.
It don't matter. Just because I put sugar in my grits, that's my preference. Okay?
You ain't got no word for me.
Okay, well, you ain't gonna learn then from a female that knows something. Okay, keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Think you know everything about women.
She gets so riled up. Why you so riled up?
Because it's January 1st, 2024. I flat ironed my hair. I'm drinking some wine called Whispering Angel.
Okay, I see what you
like
with the little fly hair do.
I know. Look at her coming on the show, looking all fly, drinking her some angel wine.
That's right.
Mm.
Okay.
See,
I know some
definitely.
things about how the female brain works. Okay. You don't. You're not a female. Hello.
Hey, I
Hold on,
believe. I'm taking your word
Maybe
for it.
sometimes, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you can listen twice as much as you talk. Okay.
But,
listening.
hold on. Let me bring
I'm
The
listening.
females that are trying to give you advice about dating a female. Maybe you
I'm
can learn
listening.
something.
I'm taking notes.
Maybe no, you ain't taking notes. Just stuff.
I am. I'm writing it down.
Some bottom feeding seafood over there.
What?
Don't want
Hold on. Let me bring brother. Let me bring brother Gavin in here and see. Maybe he got something else to add to it.
Hopefully, brother Gavin knows some more about females than you do.
Anita,
he called you.
Yes, I am. I'm here
okay, so the topic is
and accounted for.
So the topic is about NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. Have you ever had one in which a guy expressed to you what he expects and what you expect, and when it went south, what was it that you determined was the breaking point?
Can you explain that a little bit more in detail? Like, what do you mean, a written non-disclosure agreement like they had in that movie? What was that movie?
Well, Herb said a verbal one, which I don't understand. I still don't understand a verbal NDA, but Herb said verbal.
Watch the movie Up in the Air. You'll get it.
Okay, so non-disclosure agreement is saying like we're keeping our business to ourselves, and when we break up, we're still keeping our business to ourselves. Correct. Okay, well that should be common.
Adulthood.
Well, have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, it's called being adults about it.
Look at us, Anita. We agree on something. Look at that.
But that is just not that, because people, again, their emotions, if they feel like somebody got the better of them, so that's when they put shit out there when it doesn't have to be. I believe and I always say, greater than, less than, equal. If that person hasn't done that to you, then you shouldn't say, oh, I'm going to take it to the extremes and do this. Or whatever the case, because even in probably the court of law, the judge is going to look at it. Oh, y'all were fighting. You pulled out, you had a stick, but then he pulled out a gun, or whatever the case is. That's an imbalance. So we always talk about shit. Life is about mathematics, greater than, less than, equal. So, but oftentimes somebody says, "Oh, you did this to me. Well, I'm gonna take it a little further. I'm gonna do this." Then you have some guys. Oh, I got some videos of her. I'm about to send it all around, or whatever the case is.
And what is all that? That's all emotional.
Why?
Emotional reaction.
Why do that?
Being hurt. Emotional.
And guys do that.
I didn't say they didn't. I said what it is. It's an emotional reaction. It's not a rational reaction, which is what men normally do, is think rationally and say, well, how is this going to make me look if I send this out? Maybe I shouldn't do this. Even though she pissed me off and hurt my feelings and made me really want to cut her throat, I'm not going to do this because it's not going to benefit me. See, that's rational. Irrational is she hurt my feelings, so now I'm going to go splash all her business and everything she did and everything nasty about her all over social media. I'm a staple stuff up to her job in front of her house, all kind of crazy nonsense. Women do the same thing, to embarrass the person and bring shame to them and try to hurt them. But it also makes that person who did the act look just as bad.
But what if that individual doesn't care?
Well, of course they don't care.
But that's getting
again. That's an emotional feeling. They don't care because their feelings are hurt.
No,
you have some people that will do things out of hurt and out of anger, that they don't care about. They don't care about the repercussions of it. They'll go bust out the windows and go to jail because they don't care. All they want to do is pay them back. They'll go or they'll go and kill like a guy. I was reading this story the other day, watching this video the other day. The guy was trying to talk to a girl, and because she didn't talk to him, he went to his car and got a gun and shot her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's an irrational action. That's an emotional action. You hurt because a person wouldn't have a conversation with you and give you their phone number, so you thought it was okay. You didn't care that you went and took their life. And you didn't care about having to go to jail or being on the run for the rest of your life. Those are all emotional, irrational reactions.
Well, I will be proud to say that I was never that kind of female. I never slashed tires. I never broke windows, never scratched anybody's car, never damaged anybody's property, because I was raised better than that. Like, would you want somebody to do that to your property?
The thought.
I don't even know if it has to do with raising and raised better.
Okay,
because
well, it was instilled in me. Oops, can you guys hear me? It was instilled in me not to be that type of person, to respect
who instilled that in you?
people's property.
Anita, who instilled that in you?
My family.
I mean, but like, was it like just talked about, or like, was it from the male standpoint, or was it the females also? Everybody said that, or what? How?
Well, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my mom's very respectful. She's very sweet, very thoughtful and outgoing. So is the rest of her side of the family, and we're just not that kind of people.
And they normally say, think about your actions. Look before you leap.
Well, basically.
Yeah.
And plus they're Jehovah's Witnesses. So
oh wow.
They're very believe in being very wholesome and strict in how you conduct yourself and your behaviors. So
wow.
And that has a lot to do with it, but I also could say peer influence at a certain age trumps a lot of things that people do, even in relationship wise. I could say I was a victim of that. I always thought I wanted the perfect individual. I wanted somebody quiet, sweet. I wanted all. But when you get with certain people, your friends, they convince you otherwise, especially if you ain't got no notches on your belt and you're a little behind them. They'll convince you to deal with Godzilla in a bathing suit, and you like, why did I do this? And you have regrets, but that's the influence that they have. So sometimes, and I always talk about this, and I say this: parents drop their kids off school, but then it's a different representative when they walk in that school. Sometimes they got different. They have a whole outfit on. Then they go, even far as females. Then they go in the bathroom, and now they got on some short ass booty shorts and all that stuff. But that's not what they
go
were to
change
school.
in the school.
They go change.
I don't know
They go change and come out with something different. And then when their parents get called, they're like, wait a minute. I'm coming to pick her up, to bring her outfit for what? That's not what she had on when I dropped her off. But and this is the type of games that they're playing. So it's a lot of stuff that
and that's
goes on.
Precisely what I mean by impulsive. They had the notion to already do this, so it's not an emotional decision; it's a rational one. But we as men don't understand that because we keep mislabeling it because we don't understand it.
And Daphne, you did that because like you saw something instilled in you, and now you're doing the same thing with your children. You're an active participant mother. And a lot of these kids don't have an active participant mother, like Dave was just saying. These parents, they, like you said, you drop them off and you wait for them to come home, and that's the routine. There's no follow-up. There's no, well, I'm going to pop up in the school and go see how she's acting, or if the teacher is the one picking on her, if she's the one picking on the teacher.
Yeah,
I
so
never had those problems in school. I don't know what's going on with kids these days.
Well, you that I mean, you're
I mean,
looking
a
at
lack of emotional regulation, like Daphne was saying. Like with my nephew, he's 6. So when he starts fussing and because he's not getting his way, I'm trying to teach him to regulate his emotions and what that means.
but
And
that's generally when you start. But
yeah,
it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult.
yeah,
I think he has.
that's the early stage elementary. You get to middle school. That shit
Mm-hmm.
different. That shit. Well,
the,
even
the
no,
reason
what elementary shit. It probably starting like 4th grade or 5th
right.
grade. You start seeing some of that middle school behavior. Like I
And
always said,
we do
they
dress for
share new
success.
pictures and stuff like that in 4th
Yeah.
or 5th grade. They send them
What?
pictures when they're in the
New
tub and
pictures
stuff.
in 4th and 5th
Mm-hmm.
grade?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
We
crazy. I
do
remember
in my boys mentoring program, we do dress for success and talking about how you should dress. But one of the things I also talk about, and I used to do it just in the high schools, but now I do it in the middle schools, which is talking about how many boys have received pictures from girls with inappropriate dresses and dressed improperly, or girlfriend that you call a girlfriend and she send you a picture of her showing her body parts, and then making them aware of what happens as a young child. You get that picture and you send that picture to a friend. That is called transmitting pornography.
yes, sir, and that's a
They
felony.
can get labeled
Mm-hmm.
as a sex offender
Yep.
at the age of 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and their whole life is ruined because they didn't know, and everybody's doing it, but they don't realize wrong parent find out that their daughter's picture is being transmitted around the school, or their son's picture is being transmitted around the school, and now that person is becoming, their life is over.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
you have to start early with these kids because they're doing so much. And it made me think about it because the other day, our last day of that program was last week for the holiday. One of the boys was talking about a girl sent him a picture, and then they all started snickering. But we were so busy doing some other things. I said, I got to bring it up at the next program. But that is something that takes time. You can't just jump on it and bring it up because you have to approach it in a manner where they don't feel threatened or nervous about they're going to get in trouble about it. But making them aware that if they do have those pictures on their phones, they need to delete them and get them off. And I do that with middle school, and I do that with my high school programs, because these girls and boys are sending pictures around to the girls. I'm gonna send you a picture of my thing and let you check it out. And then she gonna send a picture of her thing, and then they gonna check that out. And next thing you know, the boy gets mad or the girl gets mad. Now they sending it around to everybody. That's transmitting pornography, child pornography.
And the crazy thing is that it happens, but at this point, it's really not much that is done about it, because 12 and 13-year-olds can have guns and stuff that they don't. It's just a misdemeanor. It ain't nothing. It's not a felony or anything like that. So
the pornography is, though.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the parent finds out, like your daughter comes home and says, "Mom, I sent a picture and Donnie sent my
That's
picture."
what I was told anyway.
It is.
With trust that it happens on a regular basis,
but
probably
it has to
every
be
week,
reported.
and nothing ever really comes out of it like
if
that.
If it's reported, it's a felony.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If it's reported, if that parent comes in and says, John has a picture of my daughter, and he's been sending it around the school to the different kids in the classroom or whatever through the school, that is transmittal of child pornography.
Yeah,
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It ain't no, we'll tell him to delete the picture. No, it's a federal felony. It's a felony.
I
It's a
just
felony.
know they may say that, but that's typically
Let,
not the
let it
case
be
that
reported.
would
I
happen.
mean, like if it comes up in the school, you might say, "Well, okay, we're gonna wipe it out." But if
Yeah.
a parent
Right.
reports it and takes it to the police, it opens a whole can of worms. Once
Right.
you report it to the authorities, it becomes a felony. It becomes a sexual crime, a sex crime.
We have school resource officers in our schools. This stuff get reported on a regular basis,
Really?
and these kids they got all types of confession pages, that they have burner accounts, and they're talking about this stuff and they sending it, and then it could be something, and the girl, she's in the 8th grade and she did something when she was in the 6th, then it resurfaces.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but it
That's what
originated from the
happens.
one person. But he kind of sent it, but then he like, I ain't do that. That was back then. It just it's never ending.
Yeah.
It's never ending. And the one thing I say, you should never did it. Should have never did it. Like
Once the parents get involved and take it to the authorities outside of the school, then that's when it explodes, because it may not, like you said, in the school it may not do much, but if the
but
parents
but the thing is, Willie, say for example, if one person originated, he sent it to somebody else, what's really going to, because now it's on social media, it's all over the place, you can't stop it.
right,
You
don't
make
stop
out the
it.
original person who did it, so
That
a lot of
person
parents
will
just
be the
back off.
person- I'm telling you. I have a story that I used that was that's where I got it from. It was a young man who was dating a girl in high school, and the girl, she was a freshman, he was a senior.
Oh.
And when they broke up, he sent the pictures out that she sent to him. She went to her parents went to the police, and he was charged with transmitting pornography. Well, submitting pornography, because she was like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And so they gave him I think a year in prison, and he had to register as a child sex offender.
Now, see, now you talking on a different level. I'm probably thinking on the landscape of like middle school kids that do it,
It's the
because
same
that's
thing.
when they originated.
It's the same thing.
Now, when they 12 or 13,
It's the same thing.
Eh,
Okay, I'm gonna do some research and bring it to you.
yeah, you got to bring it back whenever, and I'll probably go. I could probably bring back tons of situations that I know it happened on a regular freaking basis, and this is what I deal with on a regular basis, and I be like, why did you do that? I don't know. I mean, he asked me, did he send you something? Yeah, but his little, like they say,
And they might have a policy that's different. I mean, like I said, from what I've known, it all is in the same vein. But that's
it's
at least in this school
underage. It's
district
pornography,
here.
child pornography.
So
It's who, if the parents make an issue out of it, if the parents make an issue out of it and bring it to law enforcement, that's when you get those things happening. They have to enforce the law at that point.
Yeah. And I think what happens is the parents don't follow through, because then they realize, like, damn, a child sent it. Like, why the hell you do that? And they just want it to go away, because they realize that their child do it. And then what the crazy thing about it is, after all that, they do it again. The same female or whatever. Like, it becomes habitual. Like they like, damn, you did this again? Like
Because they don't see any repercussions until it happens, until the law enforcement is brought in and they're put on the sex offenders list and all those kind of things. But because they don't hear that much about anything happening to anybody, they don't think of it being a big deal. Well, she sent it to me, I sent it to my friend, and so forth and so on. But the case is, and they tell you all the time, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Mhm.
But that's how they always get us, is because everything that we do, there's a law behind it that they only implement when it's convenient to them to implement it.
Yeah.
And also again, I mean, see your comments, Daphne. I know what the law, I know what the handbooks say, or whatever the case is, but that should only pertain to certain people. Menace to schools, menace to schools. That's what happened. Oh, he's a menace. Now we got him. But if it's somebody who did it
But
once, and
it should be across the
but it's
board,
not,
and that's
yeah,
the
but it's not the
problem.
case. That's
We
not the
pick and
case. None of-
choose. We pick and choose,
Yeah.
and that's why when I talked about earlier about people with contracts and leases and things like that, we pick and choose the things we want to abide by, and it's gotten in society now that is normal to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard to hold people accountable for so many things, is because we've been allowed to pick and choose what we want to do, what we don't want to do, what we want to agree to, and change our mind. If you change your mind, it's fine and dandy, you know. So it becomes that situation where it's a free for all. It's a free for all, and you don't know what to expect in any situation. You just hope
And
and
that's true.
you just hope and pray that the person follows through whatever the agreement is that y'all have between y'all.
And a lot of it depends on, certain individuals, the leader, administrator, their values, or
Mhm.
whatever the case. They could be somebody dismissive, or they don't like the kid, so
Right.
or they dislike that kid, so they really trying to smash down the hammer
Mhm.
for that particular kid, but someone else they like, well, it was a
Well,
mistake.
John, he made a mistake,
Yeah,
and
he didn't know.
we're gonna forgive him, and we're not gonna make a big issue out of it.
See, it's so many areas to go with this. When we started off with the NDAs of dating and all that stuff, people sending out violating, you telling this person, don't put me on here, don't do this or do that. And you can also look at us as adults, sending nudes and stuff like that, and then somebody putting it out, sharing it with their buddies, and you 50, 60 years old or whatever the case is. This stuff happens on a regular basis, and I guess it depends on the individual, whatever. Like Herb said, like you give a verbal, but what really
How do you hold him accountable to it? Right.
Yeah,
Well, but
that
that's
depends
but
on
that
the
comes
individual.
but that comes back to to what I was saying earlier. Start asking questions about the people you deal with.
Yeah,
And-
we know that.
And what people don't realize
Communication is key.
what people don't realize is a lot of people think that's harder than what it is. With
Because
the-
people don't communicate now. Everything is on. You see people in restaurants. They go on a date, and what are they doing? Sitting on their cell phone. They're not even talking to each other.
Wow.
They're not even having a communication with each other. And then the food comes. They sit and they eat. Then they ready to go home because there's nothing else to really. They haven't had a conversation, so they're not going to have one after they eat because now they're tired anyway. So people don't talk. People don't communicate. I talk about that all the time. People don't communicate. And people actually have a difficult time communicating with people because they aren't used to having communication and talking. They're used to texting each other, and they go back and forth in text, and then, all right, let's get together and go out for dinner. Let's meet out at the club or whatever. And then they at the club or dinner or whatever, and they do what? They're on their phone.
It's just
They're
an
taking
awkward
pictures-
situation for
Taking
people.
pictures of the food,
Yeah.
taking pictures of the restaurant, taking pictures of themselves, and texting their friends and sending on social media, but no interaction with the person that they're there having that dinner or that intimate relationship with.
Which makes me remind me here. It's not. It's a Willie's moment, but a Davis moment.
You can have it, Dave. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. That what you say is true. I remember being out having dinner with a young lady. We talking, laughing. I'm gonna crack jokes, whatever. We laughing, and someone that I knew was in there, and I got a text. I just happened to look at my phone because I wasn't really paying attention on the phone, and she was like, "Wow, y'all definitely enjoying yourself tonight." I'm like,
Mm.
"What?" And then she like, "Oh, look over to your left." She was like, "Wow." She was like, kind of like that's a lost art. Two people out and they really
Having a
laughing
conversation.
and enjoying themselves,
Yeah.
or whatever. She like, what,
Yeah.
what you saying to her that got her all ticklish and just laughing, whatever. So it went on, and then eventually, when I after the fact, I had told the young lady that I was with, I was like, oh yeah, when we was out to eat, this was like, she's like, for real. So then she was feeding along with it, like, oh well, tell her this, tell her that, because she was trying to figure out like damn, what the hell was said, like, because nobody talks or communicates while they're
Mhm.
out. And then
They
after a
don't.
while, the girl kept going back and forth. Then the young lady out there, she was like, okay now, that's enough. She just go keep going on. Tell her to
Yeah.
mind her damn business
Yeah.
or whatever. Don't respond back to her. But I
Yeah.
know it to be
Because she was
true,
taken
whatever.
away from y'all
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
That person was taken away from the involvement that y'all had. People don't communicate. They don't sit and interact with people, and they don't know how to hold a civil conversation with each other and just sit and have a conversation and talk. That's why I've talked about it several times. I don't do first date dinner dates. I say it
Yeah,
all the time. And people
I
laugh
know,
at me.
I know
But
you say it.
Think about it.
I
Because when
know.
you go on a date like that, you're going there, you're sitting down to eat, and then after you eat, you can't eat. You're not going to eat while you're talking. You're not going to talk while you're eating.
I get
You
it.
barely talk while you're waiting on the food, and then after it's over, you're basically trying to get up and get out of there. And what are you going to do? And and the person goes,
Have
"I'm gonna
coffee
go
and
home."
dessert and keep on talking.
But
Really,
I agree with
very
Willie.
rarely, very
I
rarely.
agree with Willie on that, because a first date, dinner date, like, to be eating in front of somebody is kind of awkward.
Yes,
You know, you like, some people, shit, like to eat with their hands or whatever the case is. Like, I ain't about to do all this shit with my chicken. I'm about to grab that. But if somebody know you and they go say, shit, that's what I know him to do, so I don't
Right.
mind it. But the first date, you trying to be somebody you
You're trying
not,
to put on that best,
and it's
best foot
awkward.
forward.
It's awkward.
Man, be you.
I don't do
You're
first
Ain't
date
a
not
dinner
word
date.
for me,
Fucking
because I
barbarian.
ain't
I don't do
ordering just
first
a
date dinner
salad.
date. And people get, people say to me, "Oh, you're cheap, you're stingy." You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me, but the thing is, I'm going to take you out. We can meet out for coffee. We can meet out for danishes. We can go sit in the park. We can go for a walk. We can just, whatever. But the thing is, I want to see how we interact, how we communicate. See, I'm not a person that, like, if I meet you, I'll text you a few times to get things going, but then I'm trying to call you. I'm trying to have a conversation with you because I want to see if I can talk to you. If you're gonna laugh at me, like Dave was talking about, if you're gonna laugh at my corny jokes, if we're gonna have that kind of fun, because I'm the kind of person I want to laugh and joke and have fun. I like to walk around. Like, I went to Toronto this weekend by myself. I walked around in Toronto for 4 hours. Do you know how much walking that is in 4 hours in Toronto?
Yeah, we all read about it on your
I
Facebook.
walked around for 4 hours in Toronto.
Anita hating. She hating Willie.
Exactly. Well, I could care less. But the thing is, having someone. Now, I didn't have anybody with me, but the thing was having someone. Now, I wouldn't have taken somebody for a 4-hour walk, but it's because I was by myself. I did that. I just went to walk. There were certain areas I had never been to, and I just walked around and looked at it. I ended up being out 4 hours. But being able to have somebody where you can walk and that is going to enjoy doing things that you enjoy doing. It's not all about let's go to a concert and sit. Of course, you're not going to talk in the concert. Let's go to a play. You're not going to talk in the play. You know what I mean? You want to do something where you can see how you're going to be with that person when there's nothing else going on but you and that person. So that's a walk in the park, that's sitting down for coffee.
It's a long ass story. We get it.
And if a person gets upset, because people get offended. I'm not going no coffee date. I'm not going. And I've seen people say that. And I've had people say that to me. Well, then that right there showed me that you're not the kind of person I want to be around.
I want to go to Cheesecake Factory.
I'm not taking Cheesecake Factory. Not on the first date. Now, I did take a person to Cheesecake Factory. But I've known that
coffee and dessert.
Right, but I've known that person, and we've gotten to know each other where we can sit and talk and have conversations. So I did take them. We go out to eat, and I took her to Cheesecake Factory, and we. But the thing was, half the time we were there for like an hour and a half, sitting and talking. Even though we ordered food and we did eat, but most of the time we're sitting there laughing and talking before we ordered, after we ordered, and after we ate, because now you have a relationship and an understanding with that person where you can communicate. You're not going to do that on the first date, taking somebody out. And what do they want to do? They want to go to some Cheesecake Factory. They want to go somewhere where they can sit and eat, and they're not going to talk to you. And then when they finish eating, they're what? They're getting up and they're going home, because the ulterior motive was to go out somewhere to eat.
Greedy asses.
I don't think so. I
Yeah,
don't know
well-
what you heard, but
Anita, how could you even
Anita just needs
kind
something
of
to
give
say.
give an objection to that? What else is it after you ate all of that and it's your first date? What's
Because-
next? What's next?
Because I've been on dinner dates for the first date, and we did just that.
But we're not talking about just Anita.
talk. Hold on.
We're talking about the women
Hold
who
on.
post on social media a list of restaurants that they refuse to go to on a first date. Those are the
Well-
people. Those are normally the people that we're talking about. We're not talking about Anita. You may be, like I said, it's not every person. There's not all anything. But the thing is, the majority of women, they go by what they see on social media. They hear these women talking about, I'm not going no Cheesecake Factory. I'm not going to Red Lobster. I'm not going. You definitely ain't going to Red Lobster and Cheesecake Factory with me. Shit, not on the first date. So you can already scratch that. So you may get ready for some Starbucks or some Tim Hortons. Motherfucker, I mean, excuse me. But anywho, but that's but that's how that's.
I believe I was talking, but go ahead, Willie.
No, you ain't saying nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I
listening.
was trying.
Go ahead. I'm listening. We listening. Go ahead.
You sure you're done?
I'm done. I'm listening.
Okay. In any case, talking about going out for coffee, you can order coffee and dessert at Tim Hortons. So if I go on a first date, are you a bobblehead now? Okay, thank you. If we go on a first date out to dinner, I can still talk and laugh and eat. And after that, I can still talk and laugh and talk and laugh. And we can sit there for as long as we want to sit there. So it shouldn't be no problem.
I mean,
And it ain't about, I'm just trying to go out on a first date to dinner for a meal. That shit is so played out, ghetto, street, whatever you want to call it, tacky, unclassy. If that's the case, I can pay for my own dinner on the first date, because I'm not going out on a date,
So
with
But
So
Anita,
let me-
you keep
let me-
saying
let-
you.
emotions
Anita,
let me-
hold on, Dave. What's that? Anita, you keep saying you, but we're not talking about you. We're talking about if you look at social media and you watch what these women and people are saying, they're saying the total opposite. They're saying the total opposite of what you're saying.
Those look like ratchet ass women.
No, it has nothing to do with ratchet ass women. It's women in general. You have women who are not ratchet women that are saying, I'm not going to
It's not women in
Cheesecake Factory.
general,
I'm not
though.
going here.
If you
I
have a
want to go to a
mature-minded
5-star
woman, she's not
restaurant.
going to be influenced by that stupidity on social media. She's going to have her own mind and be like, okay, social media ain't the word.
So let me just say this. So again,
That's some ratchet ass women who don't have their own mind to think.
so Anita, let me ask you this. So
Seems like to me.
is it a level of nervousness? Say if you really actually like this person and the first option was to go out to dinner, don't you think that would be sort of like awkward? Just chowing down on a meal with somebody you really like for the first time, you wouldn't have no sense of nervousness, like, damn, I was a little nervous. I ain't even really know what to say, or whatever the case is. Or you'd just be normal like you was in your family and Thanksgiving dinner, just cutting up, eating, chewing, talking, and all that. You'll be doing all that.
Mhm.
I'll be just as comfortable as when I was with at Tasha's birthday party.
Oh, tea glove party,
Dancing
everybody
and
come in. That
drinking
ain't
and
even, don't
eating.
even compare that. That's a community thing. Everybody fits in, come through. At
No,
one of my
I was like
family functions.
one of the only white women there.
We don't care about that. We don't that. Yeah, we don't.
No,
That
you
that's
guys
not our
don't.
thing.
Some
Yeah.
people do though. I have been in situations where some people do though.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
to me, I'm like,
But on the average, on the norm,
on
people,
the average, I feel comfortable going to
You
a
do.
restaurant.
you do
Okay, David just asked me about me.
right.
Okay, then. So on the average, whether we're going out for coffee and dessert, we're still drinking and eating something. Whether we go out for lunch, breakfast, dinner, an appetizer, I feel just fine talking, eating,
Well,
drinking.
then
I went
then
on a
then, then
I went on a first date like a month ago to a nice restaurant, and we had a fun. I mean,
Y'all going out again?
that's not your concern.
oh no, you gonna
I'm
tell
asking a
it all.
Damn it.
I'm just asking a question.
That
Are
was a
y'all
follow
going
up
out
question.
again?
That was a follow up
That's not
question.
your concern.
Yeah, all right. So we know it didn't go that well. We know it didn't go that well. That was a good follow up question.
There you go.
No, I didn't say it went well or it didn't go well.
So
It's
if it
nobody's-
didn't go well,
Y'all
you'll
go
say,
out
yeah, we're gonna
it's
hang out
nobody's
again.
business. Dinner was great. It's nobody's business.
Okay.
NDAs. I keep telling y'all.
I keep my
Before I
business
go,
to
but before I go, I asked a question.
One
because
and
we have a
done.
non-disclosure agreement.
One and done.
Before I go, I asked a question at
I
the top of
didn't
the
say
show.
that.
That does anyone know the medical NDA?
HIPAA.
Correct.
What?
I know what it was when you said it, but I'll just wait for you to bring it back up.
The medical HIPAA laws
Mm-hmm.
are simply put NDAs. They are not allowed to disclose any information to anyone except the doctor, and that's with written authorization. So, like I said, we've been engaging in NDAs since when the HIPAA laws started to come into practice, about 15 years ago.
Longer than that.
Okay. So take a cue from the medical field. If you want to keep your business, start enforcing them. Even if you have to do it in a non-written, non-legal way. It protects you. It protects the people you with. You ain't got to worry about your business getting out there. You can live your life however you want to.
It's a lot. We ain't done with
That's
this
not even
conversation.
true with HIPAA,
Yeah.
but that's a whole nother story. Because
Yeah.
I got a HIPAA story that I could
Well,
share.
people violate it, yes. But
No, yeah, they do violate it. And I know somebody who did that, and I reported them because they were just going around telling everybody's medical shit from the clinic where they work, which really tripped me the hell out.
Well,
And so when I reported
all
them
over
to
the
their
place anyway, so,
job,
I mean,
I actually became the bad guy because it was so much stuff that the person was putting out there on people that if it would have got out that they were disclosing it, they probably would have shut the place down because there was just so much this person was just putting out there. But they actually eventually let the person go. They used some other reason to let them go. But that person was disclosing so much HIPAA violation stuff. It was ridiculous. I couldn't understand. I couldn't believe that. And they had no second thought about putting it out there.
Yeah, 'cause they didn't give a damn eventually.
Yeah, they did.
Probably they didn't
They
care if
did.
they lost their job or not.
Yeah.
all right, people,
Well,
it's been real. I gotta go to the salt mine. I will see.
And I gotta get ready to go too. I gotta but I'm hanging out with y'all. We about to make some money, man.
Who, me?
About to go make that money.
Hey, a few pennies.
I
What
hear
the
you.
government don't take.
Yeah, we can close it out. We're not done with this conversation because there's a lot more to it. It's a
Of
lot
course.
more to it. And like I said, 2024.
Willie's still gonna be here.
Yeah, we still can go on
Nobody
without
want to be on
her.
here with you, Anita. Shit.
Huh?
Don't nobody want to be on here with
Whatever,
you.
Whatever, Willie.
Because we
I
still
got a
have
few
some.
more minutes. I just
Yeah.
realized it's only 10:30. I got a few more minutes.
We still have
What you
some
got to do,
points.
Willie? So for eat some bottom feeding seafood.
I just got to reading that too. I know. I got actually. She talking about shrimp and crab legs and
I'll leave that mess.
catfish.
It probably is fake crab legs too.
I had me some shrimp today.
But no,
You
Anita,
said
back
you
to
cutting
that.
down all that. It's 2024.
I am. I'm about to cut it all out in a minute.
She watching you, Willie. She watching what you
I
say.
know
That's
she
what
is.
it
That's
says. She
what I
watching. She watching you.
Nita,
I
you
watch
missed out. You
everybody. I
missed
pay
out my-
attention.
you missed off my page.
Huh?
People gonna think you stalking me or something.
I don't care what people think. You think I care? I'm 47 years old. I don't give a damn what people think about me. YOLO.
I hear you.
People are gonna talk no matter what.
That's
so
right. People
I'm
gonna
gonna
talk
do
no
what
matter
I
what,
wanna
no
do.
matter what you say or feel.
That's right. I'll do what I want to do. I
So
gotta
how
look
was
at
your
my
New Year's?
sleep.
How was everybody's New Year? I missed that part of the show. If y'all talked about it, how was your New Year's
No, we
Day?
ain't really get into it. Actually, I was in the falls and I was driving
Were
back. I got back. I got back like at 8 something. And just watched TV and all that. What I did realize is, I don't know, like before when you watch TV and they have all the countdown stuff and all that,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have anything for black folks
No.
that I seen. I see. No, like on BT and all of that stuff, they would have like these people partying like a couple hours before
Right.
the time. It was like you flip through the channels and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It was like a bunch of country stuff and all that. I don't know if that was a message being sent or something, but I didn't see anything like the usual stuff. Like if you just around in the house drinking or eating whatever and you watch the TV, I didn't see any of that.
Wow.
I didn't see any.
I actually went to the casino. I decided I normally last year I stayed in the house for New Year's. This year I said I was gonna do something new. So I went to the casino and I just sat and watched people. I ran into some people I knew and they were over at the stir part of where the nightclub is in the casino. And I didn't go out to be around people, like to be with anybody. So when I saw a bunch of people that I knew, I left and went off to the other side of the casino, and I just kind of sat and watched people because I didn't go out to like be with anybody. I just didn't want to be in the house. So I went and I gambled. I won some money, which was cool, but for the most part, I just went and I just wanted to see how people enjoyed or what they did for the New Year's. And it was really interesting just to watch people out that night, last night at the casino, and the things that just different people all gathered in that big location, just doing all kind of stuff in the casino. And then at the end of it, when midnight did come, I ran into some friends of mine from Buffalo. And they saw me sitting there because they got, like I said, I wasn't bothered about it. I was just sitting there. And they actually, one of the young ladies, she actually bought me a drink and brought it over to me and asked me would I come and hang out with them. And I did it for about maybe 15, 20 minutes. But like I said, I didn't go out to be with anybody. So I sat with them for about 15, 20 minutes. And then I was like, you know what, I got to get out of here because I didn't go out to be out with anybody. I just didn't want to be in the house by myself for the New Year. But it was really interesting just watching the different people that were out in the casino. You had people dressed up, you had people not dressed up, you had people like it was just so many, it was such a variety of people. I thought it was really interesting just to sit and people watch.
Yeah, and sometimes you get sick that if you know a backstory behind these people, you're like, yeah, they just clueless. Like it's so much other stuff going on, and they act like they on top of the world for this little moment. But once they calm
Once-
down from
once
their
the dust
high or
settles.
they drink
Yeah.
this, and the dust settles, like shit, it's time to go back to work, or I got to come up with a master plan or whatever case. So sometimes people watching and all this stuff is very interesting, especially when you have a backstory behind the people that you watching and you actually know them. Yeah,
So
I
what's
keep it
interesting. What
simple.
about you, Anita? What you do? Play with the doggy last night?
Actually, yeah. Me and Buddy right here. We sat right here. We watched TV.
Hey,
we
buddy.
We didn't even watch the ball drop. We watched something else on the TV. We didn't have no wine. We laid on the couch until about 1 o'clock, and then we went to bed.
I was in Toronto. Actually, I was in Toronto from Friday. I didn't get back until yesterday at 3 o'clock, 3:30. So I was in Toronto from Friday till Sunday at 3:30. And then I came back and did a few things at the house, and then I went over to the casino. But that's why I said I walked around in Toronto for like 4 hours and just walking around, just saw stuff that normally when I'm in Toronto, I'm driving. So when you're driving, you don't, get the opportunity to just kind of can just stop anywhere you want to and just look at something or experience things. And so I was able to just walk for 4 hours around Toronto. I went from Yonge to Bloor to Spadina to College. And if you know Toronto, you know those streets are far apart and way. And I went over in the Market District in Spadina and hung out in the flea market area and just walked around and just watched people. I like people watching. I like to see people just out and socializing. So I did that. Went back to my hotel room and ate dinner and chilled out.
Bottom feeding fish.
No, actually, I didn't have bottom feeding fish yesterday, but I had it today.
Look like you had a good spread going on, Anita. You hating?
Oh man, I went to the buffet. There's a buffet I go to there.
I'm allergic to bottom feeders.
There's a restaurant I go to there. Whenever I'm there on a Sunday, I go to this restaurant called Hot House Cafe, and I've been going to Toronto over 20 years, and I've been going to that restaurant. I've been going to that restaurant for 20 plus years, and whenever I'm there, I go there, and they're like a 5-star buffet. Their food is a 5-star restaurant. I mean, it's really top notch food. It's a buffet that you get, and it's not like your typical buffet. I mean, it's really, 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 really good food. And normally it's about $30, and because it was the New Year's, it was $45. And I didn't even hesitate. I didn't even hesitate to go. Like I'm not going. I went, and I had a great time. They have a jazz band that plays. And I mean, it's just a great atmosphere. So if you're ever in Toronto on a Sunday, make your reservations for Hot House Cafe and go to their brunch and have a nice time enjoying the band. And Front and Church is where it's located. Front Street and Church Street, right on the corner.
Have you ever been to Casa Mia?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's not in Toronto. It's in Niagara Falls.
Where?
Niagara Falls, Canada.
Canadian side? What's the name of it?
Casa Mia. It's on Portage Road, I think.
On the Canadian side?
Yeah.
I had to go look for it. I'm always looking for different things to try.
It's like not in the downtown tourist
right
place. They have a piano player.
I like stuff like that.
Me too. It's classy. Yeah, they have a dessert called creme brulee flambe.
Okay.
So they put sambuca on the top. You know what creme brulee is, right? Mm-hmm. So they put sambuca on the top of it, and they bring it to your table on fire.
On fire, yeah.
Yeah, they light the
cool.
sambuca. Yeah.
See, I like stuff like that. And see, now something like that, I wouldn't take on a first date, but if it was somebody I was dating and I enjoyed their company, I would take them to something like that, because then that would be something that I knew that they might be into, because of course I've gotten to know them. So I would know what kind of things they would enjoy. So something like that I would do. I like doing unique things when I go on dates. I like to go, and just have a time where we can laugh and talk, and something like that. It brings something lit to the table. You're laughing and talking about it, but also enjoying that time together and what's happening in front of you. So I mean, that's what I'm about. It's not about that first date and making sure somebody get a full meal and their belly's full and all that. That ain't gonna happen with me.
That ain't even what women with some.
That's you. Say
sense.
you. Don't because it's
I
out
didn't
there.
say me. I said with some sense, with some emotional intelligence. That ain't even what they're about.
Well, some, because it's enough of them out there that's the opposite of what you're saying and what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know where you find these women, but my circle of women are
let's
not
go
like
with
that.
I know that's
yeah.
her circle of women. Your circle ain't but so big, anyways. But we ain't gonna worry about that.
That's why nobody knows my business.
That's good.
Because I keep the business to myself.
That's a good thing. You should.
But
and again, I think it's the comfort zone of who you're with. Like me, I'm not gonna order no extravagant meal that I gotta do all this and do that with certain individuals. But if you're comfortable, you might start off with something small. You're looking at the menu like, I don't want to be doing all this stuff, whatever. This ain't my thing to be cutting up shit and all that stuff. I'm deep inside. I'm not from the country, but that's where I've been. My family's raised from Alabama, so shit, I want to pick up this shit with my hand and eat it, whatever, and just go in. But you gotta depict, know your personnel.
Exactly.
That the person go be like, go ahead, do your thing, whatever. But you have some girl. He was eating that shit with his hand like he ain't never ate before, and all of that stuff. Yeah. So you don't want that. You want someone you could be comfortable with, and they like, go ahead, eat that stuff. You pay for it. Do your thing. I'm cool with it.
But
so
see,
that's
normally,
what he's trying to point
like
out.
That, you've probably been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And so now you've gone out on that date. And so they know, okay, go ahead, enjoy yourself, relax, but they're not offended by you doing something like that. If you're out on the first date, like you said, you're not trying to do all that because the person offended, they're going to be on their phone, and they sneaking videos of you sucking your finger. You got people do some crazy stuff on first dates. And like I said, for me, a first date is we're going to meet out for some coffee, or we're going to meet somewhere where we can sit and talk and get to know each other. And if they're reluctant to do that, that right there tells me they're not a person for me in the first place.
Yeah. Because if you ask, like, what you want to do? Well, let's go out here. It's our first time meeting, and they want you to go there. You already know that's suspect. That's suspect.
I met a lady in Toronto. We were talking and online, and then we started talking in person. And I said, well, I'm going to come up to Toronto. I was coming to Toronto that weekend. I said, I'm going to come up to Toronto, and maybe we can get together. And I was going to go out to eat. I said, maybe we can go out for drinks and, and just hang out and have appetizers and talk. She said, well, actually, there's a concert coming. There's a concert coming to Toronto, and maybe we could go to the concert. I said, really? Concert? I said, what concert? And she told me the concert. I forgot. These tickets were $260 a piece. I forgot who the group was or whatever it was. I called her back. I said, you know what? I said, I don't think we're the right. I said, we don't even know each other. I said, in our first meeting, you want me to take you and spend $500, almost $600 on concert tickets where we won't be able to talk. And of course, you're going to want to go eat before or after we do that. I said, I don't think we'd be a good match for each other. I said, so we might as well cut this right here. And I just left it like that. But I was just like, are you serious? I'm like, wait, we meet out for a drink and, have some appetizers and get to know each other and talk and meet up. And she's like, take her to a concert. What the concert?
That's a whole nother agenda when you think on that level. Yeah.
What kind of talking?
With guys too. It ain't just with girls.
What kind of conversation can you have at a concert? You're not talking and getting to know a person at a concert.
So,
guys are crazy too.
No, I'm not saying they aren't.
Yeah. So give us an example.
Yes. Give us an example.
Okay. Like for the first, I'll say me in person or quick date or whatever. He was like, let's go out for coffee. I said, okay, well, Spot Coffee. Well, Spot Coffee closes at 2, but it's a nice ambiance. But he had something to do because he is military. I was like, he said, well, he's not going to be done in time. He said, Tim Hortons. I was like, no, I don't want to go to Tim Hortons because it's too much foot traffic back and forth, you know, and it's too much of a distraction for me. And it's just too much. You can't like really relax. So I was like, well, you know, he was stationed way out in Buffalo anyway. I said, well, what about Bob Evans? And he was like, well, I'm not really hungry. I said, that's fine. We could sit there and drink coffee. You don't have to be hungry. But he's not from here, so he didn't know what Bob Evans was anyway. Anyway, so he went there. He got there before me. He's like, oh, it's a 40-minute wait. I was like, okay, well, do you want to wait or do you want to go somewhere else? Like Applebee's, I called there. There's not a wait there. I was like, they have coffee at Applebee's. They have coffee at the Olive Garden. Like, he was like, oh, there's Starbucks across the street. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we went there. We went there. I met him there. We didn't even get coffee. Like, he didn't even buy me coffee. We were sitting there talking and, you know, for like maybe an hour chit-chatting.
He didn't even buy you a cup of coffee?
No, I thought that was weird. Like, I can buy my own coffee.
But still, that was supposed to be the coffee date.
Yeah, he chose to go out for coffee. I would have been fine, like going down to the falls or something, because he's not from this area.
Right.
But anyway, so I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't make a big deal about it. Wow. I didn't ask about it. I didn't act funny about it.
Was that last date?
Well, hold on. We're getting to know each other, you know, good rapport because we're both military. Well, I'm prior military, you know. So then we leave. Gentleman walked me to my car, gave me a hug. He was like, do you want to, I don't know. He had something to do. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, I don't know. I didn't even get that far in my head yet. I know my contractor is coming to fix my, you know, finish or work on my living room tomorrow. You know, it was like, anyway. And then he was like, okay, well, I'd like to see you again. I said, okay. So then later on, he calls me or he texts me, whatever. And he said something about, can he come over like the next day? And I was thinking, like, since he's from Buffalo, I was thinking, like, come over to Niagara Falls. You know, he ain't from Buffalo, but he was stationed in Buffalo. I was thinking, like, come over to Niagara Falls. This mofo had the nerve to say, like, no, let's watch a movie at your house. I'm like, dude, first of all, I told you my contractor is going to be at the house the next day to be working on my living room. And then I was like, I don't feel appropriate to be bringing you in my bedroom to watch a movie. He was like, why? It ain't like we're going to be doing anything but watching a movie. I said,
damn, you ain't even got a cup of coffee. He tried to get some panties already.
I said, we can do something else. Like I said, you know, this one, and we were talking on the phone at this point. I was like, we can do something else, like meet for lunch, or, and then this mofo hung up on me just straight. Click.
He hung up?
I was like, what? The F is going on? And
I ain't trying to go no lunch. I'm trying to lunch on you, baby.
I was not having that. I was like, I don't know you like
Anita.
I was like, I don't just bring anybody to my bedroom.
He trying to smacky.
I was like,
smacky on you, Nita.
I was like, I just met you. I know you like me like that.
Wow, he didn't buy a cup of coffee. He ready to jump right up in there.
So needless to say, you never heard back from him, huh?
Huh?
That was it.
You never heard back from him, huh?
Well, so I text him because sometimes my phone drops calls, and I know my phone does drop calls sometimes,
Right.
and especially when I'm driving in my car, and I know his phone drops calls sometimes.
So you gave him the benefit of a doubt. Go ahead.
Right. So I text him like a little question mark, and so he was like, I don't know, something like about coming over. I said, well, I don't feel appropriate. We can do something else. I don't feel appropriate with you in my bedroom. What, like, why is that a problem? We can do something else. I could show you downtown Niagara Falls, the falls, we could do something else. But I don't want you in I don't feel appropriate with you in my bedroom. Like, we just met, dude. I was like, nah. What kind of female you been dealing with, man? It ain't me.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he was like, I don't know. We texted back and forth. He's like, okay, I won't come then. I was like, well, I'm not saying like we can't watch a movie at the movies. Or
you don't want to watch no movie at no movie. He want to come over to your house and lay up with your buddy.
You gave him too much conversation after that. You should have been like, yo, I already know what his intention.
That was already done. He want to come over and lay with. He gonna push Buddy on the floor. He gonna lay up on the bed with you by yourself. He said, Buddy got to go.
So you compromised. He sat on your porch.
I was still like, trying to be classy about it. Like, I ain't mad at you, but trying to explain, like, I just don't want you in my bedroom.
You wasn't getting the message.
Right. I said, well, can you explain to me what you mad about?
You know what he's mad about.
And
you knew damn well what he was mad about.
And then he said, okay, I'm good. I'm not coming to your bedroom. So I was like thinking, okay, he understands the message, right? Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, we can meet down at the falls. Then he was like, I'm not interested. I was like, okay, then.
See,
I'm not interested.
You shouldn't even want to even go to the falls with it.
I wouldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like.
People are a trip, man. That's, and like I said, people have these,
I mean, our conversation was to the point where, like, he was telling me that he was kind of surprised and kind of awkward that when he met a female at the first time, she invited him over for a tour and gave him a tour of her house.
Really?
And that he's not promiscuous. He doesn't have friends with benefits. He's not in a rush to have sex, and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then he goes and says all that. I'm like, your words.
You made a changed man out of him. He met you, and now he wanted to do all that. He wants you to be his friends with benefits.
Outfit too, and he's like, you got some nice thick thighs. I'm like,
see,
okay.
Yep, you should turn them on. That's why you shouldn't have turned them on. Look at you, made him promiscuous. He wasn't even thinking about that till he saw you with all that on.
And he gave me a hug, and it's like he wouldn't even let me go.
He won't let you go. I know that's right. He hugged you.
Did you like the hug?
Oh, I like your thighs. I like your outfit.
The hug?
Hell yeah, she liked it.
Yeah, I like the hug.
You probably ain't been hugged about 12 years.
Until a certain
12
point,
years of slave.
Until a certain point where I felt a little something. I was like, okay, I gotta go.
Pokey. Pokey pokey.
I was like, okay,
pokey.
I gotta go.
You felt a little pokey.
Yeah, we ain't doing all that. Like that, you're too close to me now. I gotta go.
Yeah, he was really hugging you. Adina.
He was like, oh, you're so cute. You're so short. I like that. I like you're rocking that outfit and those pants. You got some nice thick thighs.
Why you turn that man on the first seat? That's why I don't do first date dinner dates. So you wouldn't have been dressed like that with coming out with me.
He was about to unalive your ass. That's what.
Hell yeah. He's about to turn you out, baby.
I mean, it
Oh,
wasn't even a dinner date. It was like we went to Starbucks. Didn't even get coffee. Didn't even get an ice water.
He ain't buy you nothing. He thought you was gonna be a freebie.
I got the Starbucks app, and I have a freebie on my app. So,
Well, see, he didn't know that. He just thought
well,
he could come there and
he
snatch
didn't
you
ask
up.
me if I wanted coffee. He didn't get a coffee for himself, so
So
I
he
was
just sat there talking with you. Y'all didn't drink or do nothing.
we just talked for like an hour.
Oh hell no.
I was fine with it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't like pressing anything because I was generally had a genuine interest in our conversation, you know, getting to know like past the text messages. So
That's crazy.
yeah, and that's part of the
I mean, I wasn't really
comfort zone.
I wasn't really offended, but after the hug and he was offended, talking about I'm not interested, all because I wouldn't let him come to my bedroom to watch a movie because the contractor was going to be working on my living room. I was like, this dude is cray cray.
No, he wasn't cray cray. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I wanted to say like, aren't you in the didn't you serve in the same military I served in? Like we don't rock like that.
But
I
did you
know
hear?
we don't rock
Did
like
you pay
that.
attention to this point that he had experiences that other people gave him tours around the house, so he automatically thought that
Expecting
you
the
were
same
like
thing
that.
from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, according to his tone of voice and his body language and the words, he was uncomfortable and felt awkward about it.
About what?
Um,
About the women taking him to his house, their house?
yeah, he said, I
That's
thought we
cap.
were just going to be sitting
Yeah,
outside
you
on the
believe that?
porch.
You believe
He
that?
is cap. He is capping.
Yeah,
on
that
that.
And
damn.
I was like,
Yeah, he was setting you up for the kill, sister. He'd
I
have
was like,
Buddy. He'd have Buddy sitting right on the floor while you and him was laying on the bed supposed to be watching the movie. He just threw Buddy right out the room. The Buddy got to go. He got some business to take care of. He about to turn you out.
Even my ex-boyfriend don't kick Buddy on the floor. My ex-boyfriend, the dogs get more cuddles than I do with my ex.
That's the problem. That is the
Yeah,
problem.
you got the wrong people.
But yeah, that dude, I was like, where in the hell? He just straight hung up on me in the middle of my sentence.
People don't date anymore. People don't, even what they consider dating isn't dating. You got people that they think dating is you take me out and take me out to dinner and then later
and then we're smashing
and go, yeah, we might smash or we might not smash. But what else are you gonna do for me? You're gonna take me shopping. I've seen people talking about. I've watched these videos I watch social media too much sometimes, and the girl she'd been dating the dude like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and all of a sudden now she wanted him to go out and buy her kids school clothes for school. I'm like, what in the heck? What is the world coming to? Where and she was mad. She was literally mad that this guy. She took him to Walmart with her, and then when they got to the register, expected him to pay for her kids' school clothes. And she had a basket full of clothes. She had a basket.
Okay, something all ain't there in
but
these
that's the
people's
mindset
heads.
now. That's the mindset. You got these people to thinking that you should get a bag. A bag is 1,000 or 2 bags is 2,000. Every bag, you got to get a bag. The man should be giving you a bag, and he can't be working no 9 to 5 because he's working a 9 to 5. He can't give you a bag because he ain't making enough to give you a bag. And all this kind of it's all about materialistic and financial gratification, and
that's only what you see on social media.
No, because I just talked about a situation that I just experienced a month ago.
But did she say that she was going to pay for her own concert ticket?
No. I'm not talking about the concert. I'm talking about another situation before you came on, where a person and they might be watching. That's why I'm trying not to get into too much detail. But the thing is, the person literally came back to Buffalo with a totally different, it was a total flip of the script where all of a sudden they expected me to pay to be involved with them, to buy things and to be involved with them. Where prior to that, we hung out and did things all the time and we just did things. And now all of a sudden it's, in order for me to enjoy her company, I have to go out and buy her things and provide.
I mean, damn, I just want some grits with some butter, salt, and sugar.
Sugar. I know what you damn sugar. But I mean, and so I mean, it's really amazing that people look at relationships as what a person can do for them versus what they can do together. And that was one of the things I kept telling the person. I said, we can do more things together than we can as me being the only person having to provide every time we do something. And that just went right over their head because it wasn't what they wanted to hear. They saw that I had my own business. They saw that I had, the things that I do and my books and everything else. So they just assumed that once they got involved with me, that they were going to benefit from all the things that I had. I was just going to just lavish them with things.
Who said this? He was running game.
Huh?
I said, who's the Facebook user that says he was running game?
Where you seen that? Oh, he was running game.
I didn't fall for it. I was like,
the guy was running game. He was trying to run game on you.
I was like, you are crazy, like legit crazy.
Yeah, but that was just crazy. The fact that somebody come out.
Vicky.
Yeah, I want to come to your house. I'm not gonna buy you no coffee, but I want to come to your house and we're gonna watch a movie. Yeah, you already know what that's about. That's but people are like that. I've watched people post some videos where the take a girl out to dinner, like they say take them out to these nice restaurants, and then when the check comes, the guy said, and he's videotaping it, and these are actual dates, videotaping it, says, "Am I getting lucky tonight?" And the girl will say no, and then he'll turn to the waitress and say, "Separate checks, please." And then make the girl pay for her own meal because she's not having sex with him after the $200, $300, $400 dinner he just paid for, that he took her on. And she ordering all the top whatever stuff off the menu. And then he turns to her and says, "Well, am I getting lucky tonight?" And she look at him like, "No." And then he says, "Separate checks, please." And made her pay for her own meal. And I've seen videos like that several times where that has happened. And that's what you have now. That's what you have. You have people doing these things. That's why, again, I don't do first date dinner dates because I'm not going to take you out and then have you, especially somewhere, I'm not going to take you somewhere and spend $300, $400, $500 on a dinner on the first date.
But that's why I make sure I have my own money to cover myself on a first date, and I will offer like, "Hey, I can pay for myself."
But see, again, we're talking about Anita. You're different because most of these women don't have the money to go to the restaurants that they want you to take them to.
Like, as a matter of fact, just the other day, I took one of my girlfriends to Bella Ciao, and I paid. It's a nice, very nice restaurant in Buffalo.
But you know what? Girls will do that for each other. Girls will do that, but then they won't take some girls will. Some women will take a guy out. And I've dated girls who've taken me out. But you're a rarity. It's a rarity that you'll have a woman that will take a guy to the same type of restaurant that they want the guy to take them to. Very rarely will they do that. They'll take a guy to a cheaper restaurant, but then because they took him to the cheaper restaurant, now they want him to take them to a more expensive restaurant. And it's like, well, I took you and I spent $100, so now they trying to get their $100 back.
Be like a battle like that,
right? And that's what I'm saying. It's a competition, and so that's why I said that's why getting to know a person before you even get into any of those things. So I'll go to I like Tully's, so I'll go to a Tully's, and like I said, I like Tully's because I like the food. There's a variety of food there, but I like to see how they respond to a Tully's. It's not so much,
I mean, I don't think Tully's is that bad. I would
It's
rock
not.
Applebee's.
right, and that's what I'm saying. It's not, but
I
the
would
thing
rock
is, you look,
Applebee's, Chili's,
you
Olive
look at how the
Garden.
person responds to you taking them to those places. That's what I look at. So if we've gone to coffee and say, hey, this is a place I like to go to named Tully's, and I was wondering if you want to go with me. Now I'll do like that.
See,
You know what I mean? So not like, you want to go out for dinner and then I say, let's go to Tully's. I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about going out Thursday and that's this place I like to go to called Tully's. You want to go with me? Now they can say yes or no. I don't eat there. Okay, well, okay, cool.
See, people who had that facade like they don't eat in these places like that, and they try to act like they better than that. People who got money like that, they eat fucking anywhere. They don't
Thank
even really
I
care
eat at
like
the white
that.
coffee shop.
They don't even
I do
care
too.
like that. So
I don't
you're
care.
trying to act like you're acting like something that you're not,
You're really
whatever.
not.
You're
Right,
using
putting on a
just
facade.
labels and saying, "Oh, I ate here," or "He took me there," whatever. But when you got money like that, you don't even care. Like you'll go to the most ratchet ass spot. Like, oh, they have some good ass food here, or whatever the case is. You'll leave them a nice
find the
tip.
places that
Yeah.
have the nicest food with the cheapest amount.
Yeah, so all that shit, like that's just people just not doing their homework and they're acting like they're something that they're not. So you don't really pay attention to that. I don't get caught up in all that stuff. If the food is good, it's good.
And when you talk about rich people, I was reading this article the other day and I posted about it. What's his name? Simmons from Run DMC. His daughter, I guess she's dating some rapper. And so he bought her these 2 or 3 purses for Christmas. A total of $400,000 for these 2 or 3 purses. Okay, 3, 4 purses, whatever it was, $400,000. And I posted it and I said, a better gift would have been an apartment building or some stocks and bonds. And people literally got upset with me for saying that. Well, she probably already got that, and the purses made more sense for her to have.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And I'm like, if I buy you a $400,000 building with apartments that you can go buy a purse later, or if I buy you $400,000 worth of stocks and bonds, the revenue from those stocks and bonds can buy you purses, cars, and everything else later. But see, that's the mindset. People look at, well, he bought her a $400,000 Bugatti bag or whatever the kind of bag it was, some bags. It was 3 or 4 purses he bought for $400,000. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
He was stupid himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. $400,000. I said he could have bought her an apartment building. He could have bought her some stocks and bonds, something that way years later, she's still remembering that he bought her that because she's still being able to utilize and capitalize off of that.
Man, it's a lot.
It's
It's so many things, whatever, that we can point out. Like there's no one size fit all model. It depends on the individual. It depends
Dang.
on your. It depends on your tolerance level of what you go.
my tolerance
Take
is
it.
0.
Yeah. So there's no right or wrong answer, and that's the importance of just everybody sharing their experiences to know, like, okay, you may have experienced this, but I never experienced that. So the point is for everybody to try to get their thoughts out there so people can see, because some people live in a bubble and they say, well, I never heard of that. I would never do that. That doesn't make any sense. You stupid. You're making that up. But the reality is that people, they live like that. And that's it. So that's the importance of these conversations. And again, like I said, we're not done yet because you know the big bad wolf. He gonna get to that job and he gonna be coming up with some other disclosures for the
ideas.
NDAs or whatever, because he had to go to work and usually he doesn't work on Mondays, whatever.
Oh,
So we're not done with this conversation by far, but we are gonna get up out of here at this point. I gotta go back to work for these kids. It seemed like I only been off for like a week, kid.
now we're not going
ready
tomorrow.
for this. Yeah, I'm not ready for this shit at all.
Wow.
At all.
We need to
But-
have like a Thursday night follow-ups.
Well, I did used to have Monday and Thursdays, but
Shit, I'll be busy.
I
I
got
wasn't
nothing.
doing that. I was working at the computer. I just did a new website that I posted. I'm trying to create some new websites.
Bottom feeders.
No, I did a website for my speaking business, and I'm doing a website for my inspection company. I'm going to do that next. So I'm actually trying to create some visual sites where people can go and find out more about my businesses. I got a lot of things I'm working on, and I think I mentioned last week when I was talking to you guys, I said about the CAPS, which is Certified Aging in Place Specialist, something that's really big. 73 million seniors by the 2030 will be looking to age in place, looking to stay in their homes instead of going into a nursing home.
Mhm.
And I'm working to help them to do that versus being forced to go into a nursing home because their homes aren't set up and modified in a way that they can stay in their homes and grow old.
and I think that's big, whatever.
Yeah.
Too, whatever, because, and I know, and I only can speak from the black culture aspect. A lot of black, when they get elderly, they want to be in their homes. They want to be
Yeah.
comfortable.
They don't want to
They
go to a
can.
nursing home.
They got sons and daughters. They may have nice elaborate houses. Like, Mom, we could build in-law a little
Yes,
suite
Mom,
for
yeah.
you, but they don't want none of that. They want their
They want their
house
own home. Yeah.
that they're used to being
I've
in,
lived
that
in
they
this
can get
house all
around
my
in.
life. I've
Yeah.
raised y'all in this
Yeah.
house, and I want to die in this house. And the house
Yeah.
isn't made. And what happens is the first time they fall, and that's normally when they put them in a nursing home, is because they've fallen somewhere. They've fallen, and
And
now they're hurt,
right.
and now their bedrooms are on the second floor, and because they've fallen, they can't get upstairs anymore. So
And that-
preparing them by moving those bedrooms to the first floor, that's what my role is as a CAPS and universal design specialist, is to go into that home and show them how to start preparing that home for them to be able to age in place. So we're going to take your bedroom and we're going to put it downstairs. We're going to build where that closet or that pantry was, and we're going to put a bathroom, extend the bathroom and make it a bathroom where you can now have a bathroom downstairs and your bedrooms downstairs. And we're going to widen the walls. And if you eventually need a wheelchair, we're going to reinforce the floor. So that way, if it's a motorized wheelchair, the weight of the floor will be able to handle the weight of the wheelchair. So, I mean, there's so many things that happens with aging in place that people don't even think about until they need it. But if you do
So
it
they work in that field.
right, and if it's early, you do it early, it makes it more affordable. But if you wait until they fall, now you got to do $80,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of work in order for them to stay. It doesn't become affordable anymore for them to stay.
And that's another
So-
thing people need to think about.
Yeah.
That falling stuff, whatever. People
Yeah.
falling when you get older. That's
Mhm.
just scary. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people who they hold like
That's the
lives
first
have
thing you hear
changed,
about.
whatever, that they fell or something
Yeah.
hit their head or
That's
did
the first thing you
something
hear
and
about.
end up being, incapacitated, not being able to function because of a fall, whatever. So even in your, 50s and 60s,
Yeah.
whatever, you got to be careful. Got to
That's-
hold on the
that's the
railings.
age, and
You
that's
got
what people
to
don't
do all
realize.
this stuff, whatever.
50 and 60 is the age.
Yeah.
But do you know where the biggest hazard is in the home for a senior?
The bathroom.
The
bathroom.
bathroom.
The bathroom. And guess why? Because when they fall between the toilet and the wall.
Mm.
The toilet and the wall. So imagine being stuck between your
I'll
toilet.
be the laugh at that, but
But that's why I said it.
Yeah,
But that's why I said it. When the instructor told us in the class, we were like, you don't think about those things.
Yeah.
You don't,
Because
think
it's
about
easy to
those.
fall in the bathroom, come out,
Right.
step
But
out
when
the tub or
out the
shower
tub,
and slide and then
And
slip and fall.
that's why we go in and we help them to put in what is called curbless showers, where you don't have that step in shower anymore. You got where you just roll in, or you can
Mhm.
walk right into the shower. It's not a little small step that you can step in and go into the shower versus stepping over into a tub. Those are called curbless showers. So, but the thing is, the biggest hazard is when they fall between the toilet and the wall. And they get stuck between there and they can't get up because there's nothing for them to grab onto to get up.
Makes sense.
So imagine being stuck. And the thing is, if they're living by themselves, how long are they going to be stuck there before somebody comes to check on them?
Mm-hmm. Well, do you know any apartment that is handicap accessible?
I don't. There's a lot of them out there, especially if it's federally funded, because federally funded housing now are making properties handicap accessible. But the thing is, HUD, and I was just telling somebody, HUD just had a grant that ended. They were offering $1 million to different housing agencies to provide up to $5,000 or $10,000 to help seniors modify their homes for aging in place. And nobody that I know of in Western New York took the grant because they don't know what aging in place is.
I'm asking because, like, a lot of people, I found out that a lot of people don't even know what handicap accessible actually means. It doesn't mean just having a ramp
Right
into
but
the
that's
house.
what they think.
Yeah.
When I mentioned to these housing agencies about aging in place and senior living, the first thing they talk about, well, we don't want to put in ramps and lifts. I said, it has nothing to do with that. But that's what they hear, that when they think of aging in place and seniors, they think about ramps and lifts. They don't think about all the other things, lighting, floors.
The cabinets have to be low
cabinets,
enough so they
all
can
those kind of things that
reach
are.
in
I
the
even went to Home
wheelchair.
Depot. Home Depot had no clue. I went to
Mhm.
Home Depot because I said, how come you don't have any aging in place things here? And they were like, what are you talking about? And then when I explained it to them, they were like, we never heard of that. So I'm working on, like I said, these are all the organizations that I'm looking to expand our awareness with. And so I'm meeting with different organizations like Habitat for Humanity, Home Depot, so we can see how we can help get the information out for aging in place and have them put products in the stores where people can buy it and put it into the places. So I mean, it's a big thing. 73 million people by the year 20. That's 6 years from now. 6 years from now, 73 million people will be looking to age in place in their homes and not be forced to go into a nursing home. 73 million people.
Well, if you come across anything that is in a decent area that's handicap accessible, I have a married couple that works in Niagara. Well, they live in Lockport.
Well, I'm not gonna guarantee you that I'm gonna be looking for. If I hear about it,
I'm saying if you run across something,
but that, like I said,
in Lockport, but they work here.
I don't do, like I said, I'm doing more awareness. So working with facilities that already have it in place, I may come across. If I do, I'll let you know. But for the most part, I'm doing awareness because people don't know. Agencies don't know. They don't know about what aging in place and universal design is.
Don't know.
Yep. So I'm going to be busy in 2024. I am the only CAPS and universal design rehab specialist in the country. That is sad to say. It's a good thing for me, but it's sad to say that I'm the only person that's out there doing this.
Well, if you need help, let me know. I'll go to the classes. I'll be your protege.
Please, I'm still trying to get you to stop putting sugar in your grits. I ain't trying to do nothing else with you.
I'm trying to stop you eating freaking oxtails and bottom feeders.
What's wrong with oxtails?
Talk about my oxtails, girl.
I just had some oxtails.
Don't talk about my oxtails now. And my curry goat.
Too much salt.
And my curry goat.
Anita, you act like you don't be striving like, who got these greens and fat backs and turkey necks, whatever. Stop playing. Don't get on here fronting and shit, whatever, 2024. Yeah. Don't be funny.
Okay, I do like soul food. I do need
Yeah,
my
yeah.
greens and ham.
Because I can
hocks.
tell you, if I came to Niagara Falls and I delivered some oxtails to your house, your ass would be eating good.
Be tearing it up.
So stop playing.
Tearing it up.
Oh, snap.
We told you we ain't playing in 2024. I'm gonna call you out on your shit.
Okay.
Hey, guys, I gotta get out of here. I gotta
Yeah, we're about to get out of here.
I got 2
I ain't
grants
got
I gotta
shit
write
to do.
tomorrow.
I ain't
All
got
right,
shit
everybody.
to do tomorrow, but sleep and play with Buddy.
Well,
Yeah.
you lucky for
Bye,
you.
buddy.
He's
All right,
sleeping
y'all.
on your
Appreciate
All right,
y'all coming
everybody,
on.
have a
Whatever. We ain't
blessed
done with
night.
this
Happy New Year.
conversation.
Happy New Year. Good to see everybody. I'm glad I came on tonight. You guys have a blessed day and a blessed year. And you take care of them kids tomorrow, because you know they're gonna have come back to school with some stories for you,
Yo,
mister.
they already coming. They already wait for me and shit. They probably already got their clothes on, because some of them told me, "Well, I sleep with my clothes on that roll and ready to roll shit, whatever." Like, so they probably, yeah, that old shit, whatever. Sleep in your clothes so you ain't got
Sleep in
to
your
take a
clothes,
shower.
get up,
You
go
ready to
school.
go? Yeah, so they ready.
Wow.
I'll be there. I'll be there for them. But
My
all right,
man.
good people. We,
It's good that they have you there, though. That's a good thing, because they have somebody they can depend on to be there for them. All right,
I
my brother.
appreciate y'all coming on. We'll talk soon and continue
Definitely.
posting y'all posts in the corner, and we'll connect. Everybody,
All
go
right,
see
So,
y'all
us
have
all
a
in
right,
good
the
my
night.
sister.
Huh?
What about all right, my sister, Willie?
I said good night, everybody.
I need
I'm
on
not
some shit
everybody.
tonight.
Good night, Anita. Good night, Anita.
All
Go
right,
get you some
Anita.
grits and sugar. You
She's
be
so
all right.
fly
Oh,
because she
I
got
ate
that.
grits and
She
sugar
got
this
that fly
afternoon.
hairdo. She on
No,
some
she got her
different
hair
shit.
flat iron,
Yeah.
so now she
I
won't be flat.
did. I did flat iron my hair today.
Yeah,
Bye,
she
buddy.
on-
All right, y'all.
Y'all
I'm
be
out of here.
good.
I gotta
All
go do
right,
some work.
peace.
Later.
All right, I'm on my laptop. I don't know how to log off of here as usual.
Oh, Anita.
And you didn't come visit me when you were in town? Ooh, I'm gonna hit
Oh.
you with a wet